touching everyone. Band on the run. Band on the run. Everybody's got somebody to lean on.
Whoops.
Put your body
My chat feed's up. What's up, everybody? Friday afternoon.
dream on.
Who knows what song this is? It's a super group from back in the day. What's up? It's a super group from the 80s. What a super group it was, too. Does anybody know what this song is? Oh, come on. You guys got to know this song. All right, I'll tell you who's in the group. Yes! Truthful Soul has it. It's the Traveling Wilburys, but it's the song called Handle with Care. It had Tom Petty, Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Roy Orbison. Did I say Tom Petty? Little super group there from back in the 80s. Yeah. Great song. Great song. It is one of those like names of the bands where it's like, what? It's hard to put your finger on it. That's for sure. What's up, everybody? I guess the Lori Vallow verdict is coming through, I think. So Let me open up panel real quick. We're going to be talking Oklahoma here. Going to try and get caught up on this case. We'll just kind of chit-chat about it for a bit. That way we can make sure we get our Friday night hangout in. Yeah, I set up the notification for the Friday night hangout. What's up, Pam? Sent up a notification for the Friday night hangout. Did this one. Put up another vid. SRB. The highlight that I put up that you were a part of. We've hit over 1,000 views. Thank you. Couldn't believe it. Like 2 days ago, it only had like 68. Now it's got freaking 1,000 something. It's like, damn. Good stuff. Thank you, everybody who viewed the video, liked it. Any subs came from it. Appreciate it. Yeah, we just need to get to that 1,000 sub mark. That's the main goal. Once we're there, then we're at the top of the mountain, and however farther it goes up, hey, that's how far it goes up. But that is the goal. My brain is broken today. Uh-oh, what happened? No, we both were talking in that. It was the one. It was the highlight with the. Hold on, let me turn this down. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and pause that. It was the highlight with where the mom, or not the mom, but the aunt was talking about all the stuff she found and stuff. Get that space age. All right, let me switch to this. Verdict reached in trial for woman charged in unalivings over children and husband's first wife. I didn't think the verdict was going to actually come until later today. But I guess not. There's the link for the panel if you want to hop up. Let me put the side in the window. Let me share this Vallow verdict here.
Goes about their business. Oh, wait, I have a surprise guest. Yes, and she's one of my many bosses.
What?
So
What?
In the courtroom, now down with us is Kathy Rush, and she's here to.
Kathy, are you there?
I can hear you there.
Kathy?
So you came down, you gave up your
Kathy?
seat, you've left it with Gigi to handle, and
Kathy?
come down to share your thoughts with us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, how'd you break
looks
your
like
brain?
A little bit of chaos on the ground in front of the courthouse, not unusual. What's your take?
Yes, that is the.
About the scene. I'm sorry,
see,
you cut out.
Let me see. I think I've had a couple videos. There's been a couple podcast shows that hit like 600-700 from a while ago. Catherine Ramsland did pretty good. But it's like, 4, 5, 6, 700. There's a one that hit like 800 and something a week ago, and then this one from a couple days ago. I was like, yes, moving up, CJ. We finally got a video that has over 1,000. I'm starting to get out there. Daybell Vallow innocent. What? Are you fucking serious?
Kay and Larry are here. I didn't see any other family members here, but law enforcement. And I don't mean.
Okay, I
people
thought they
in,
came to a
uniforms
verdict. Why?
Coming in, to make sure there's nothing happening security-wise. All the law enforcement that worked on this case, they just filled up 3 full benches.
I need to
I
have.
bet you there's, 10, 12 of them, maybe.
You know what? Maybe I
They all
could
have
do
that, but they're
sometime.
suits, not uniforms.
Because I have my phone as a chat feed. Ooh, let me try that real quick. Hold on a second. Let me see how this would work. Let me see how this would work. They just gave me an idea.
In this on a professional level, on a personal level. I mean,
Hold on.
These are the folks who found the remains of JJ and Tyler. These are the folks that gathered
What's up,
that
Jinx?
evidence to be presented
No.
ultimately to this jury that has now decided the fate of Lori Vallow and Daybell. So give us some of
They
the nuts
did?
and bolts here, Kathy,
Where's
about the
the-
process going forward.
Hold on.
Assuming there is
Where's the
a
chat?
guilty verdict, how much time would you anticipate before sentencing? What's that process all about?
I haven't heard officially.
Three
but I've heard
lives.
officially the
Okay.
sentencing
Did they read?
will happen back in Fremont County, not here.
Did they
So
read
it
a
will
verdict?
not be immediately today. Is my understanding.
Yeah. And I imagine they have the pre-sentencing report process to go through. How about the victim impact?
Oh,
process
245
again,
here.
if
Let me
there
see
is
if we
a
can
guilty verdict here. What do you expect?
see if I can get
Yeah,
some
definitely.
fucking. There we go.
Lori Gay
Look at
will
that
speak,
shit.
But again, that's going to be the later date at the sentencing. I don't
Hold
know.
on, let me
Maybe
see.
Colby
Let's
Ryan,
fool
Lori's older
around
son,
here.
will give a statement, but
They just
definitely
gave me an
Larry
idea.
and Kay will. JJ's grandparents will speak.
So there's so many other cases
There we go.
hanging out there. We talked a little bit about them earlier today, the one in Maricopa County for the death of Charles.
No, that's going to be in
Vallow.
front of my
But
feed.
there's also
Hold
some
on.
little
They just
lesser
gave me an
charges,
idea.
going on in Madison County, in Idaho.
Is that
These
too
were
weird?
The obstruction of justice and failure to report. They're ticky-tacky in comparison.
There we go.
Kathy, do you think those go away?
Well, they were already dropped. The failure to report their
Ooh,
kids,
is
the
it
endangering of the kids.
Does it
Those
look
were
weird?
dropped. I'm not sure if there's anything left in Madison
In
County.
Madison County, no obstruction charges still.
I don't know.
Yeah, again,
Not sure.
they're a pimple on on the rest of this,
Right.
A pimple?
cancerous case. And so where are they going to go after the fact? She's going to be in
Is it cool?
custody. She's going to go back to.
I gotta
what
think
hear
of
is
a
lovely
different,
jail nearby. And then what you think? Then she'll be transferred back to Fremont.
I got to think of a different
So, yes, she'll be transferred back there, I would assume, until she goes to the state prison. However, we don't know how soon before she's extradited to Arizona.
And again, this is all assuming guilty verdicts.
Maybe I'll
We
have
don't
to do
know. We
this
haven't
from
heard
now
yet.
on.
We're waiting for the jury's pronounce, which should be in 15 minutes. Maybe
Does
a little
my
bit less.
yeah? I
You get
bet
the
my
feeling,
voice still matches.
Kathy, this is going to go off
Ooh.
as planned. That
That's
time
an
frame, or is
idea.
it going to be a little soft, and it'll be maybe somewhere in the next
No,
30?
No, Judge Boyce is pretty timely. So unlike a lot of courts that we've seen where the timing is very loose, the only holdup would be if they knew victims or people involved were still coming. But I think everyone's here. So I would think we'd be pretty close to on time.
Yeah, an hour is plenty of time for folks to gather who have any interest or purpose in being there. So hopefully that holds true. Can you give me any other insights there, Kathy, while I've got you?
I mean, I will say that I knew it was coming down before it was announced it was coming down. Little things you pick up on when you're just sitting in the courtroom. There are two bailiffs that were sworn to be with the jury, and we had
She's so important.
and then one of the courtroom, and he talked to the court admin, and then she got on her phone and started texting, and then it was kind of just calm, and then a few minutes later, defense attorney John Thomas walked in, but then it was still kind of calm. But at that point, I said something's happening, and then the spokesperson for the prosecution team came in and said, "Raise your hand if you're media. Please make sure I have everyone's phone numbers and contact information." And then I was like, "Oh, something for sure is going down." And what she did tell us is the prosecution team will not be coming out on camera. They will not be making a statement on camera. But she is working on.
I thought it
being
was
able
supposed to be
read their
televised.
statement on camera, so she may come out and read it. And the defense attorneys
What?
told me they are also not speaking.
I thought
So
it was
I'm not
supposed
sure
to be
what sound We're going to
televised.
get after the fact, but we're definitely going to try.
Yeah, well, some local react ought to be interesting at the very least. I know, Kathy, you've been doing this a while, so your spidey senses were tingling and properly set off there. By
This
the
guy is
folks
weird.
going on there in the courtroom. Think about, you've been following this thing from the very beginning. So, if anything caused the jury members pause, what do you think it might have been? What would they have needed to get them to a decision even quicker?
Look, we're under 7 hours. That's quick.
Ooh,
That,
sea
I
salt
mean, come
kettle
on, there's
chips.
7 counts. They're very
Yum.
complicated. These counts include, and they didn't know this case. They'd heard just very little about it. They were thrown a curveball when they started talking about zombies and religious zealots and on and on and on. And they weren't able to talk about it all of this time. So I think the part is really them just spewing out everything they're thinking for 6 weeks. Like, what the heck, you know? And then they have.
I love kettle chips.
That count might have been. They had
Yum.
to talk a bit longer about that, about if Lori was involved in Tammy. It's just a lot. I don't think under 7 hours is a long time at all.
No, I think you're right. And no questions and no requests for readback of testimony.
So we don't know that. You know how it works. It works differently in courts all across the country, and a lot of times we have that on the record. We were not told if questions would be on the record or not. So they hear after the fact they had a question, but we don't know.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because whether we
Hmm,
question the
jalapeno.
answer, whether or not they've requested.
Yeah, it's got to be.
That's very
SRB.
interesting to keep that totally.
It
quiet.
had to
I
be.
agree.
I mean, it was so
What do you
obvious.
expect? We're not going to hear prosecution. We're not going to hear from the defense. It kind of leaves us kind of flat once the verdict is read. You know, what other sources might you be plumbing there to give us some sense of reaction on both sides?
Well, I have been speaking with the defense investigator quite a bit. If he comes out, I'm going to try and grab him and go on camera. I do think Larry and Kay might come out and say something, and then we may hear a statement on behalf of the prosecution. And there's a lot of the problem is I have approached a couple of them, and they that I have talked to said we can't talk because we still have Chad. So anything on the prosecution side, they're being tight-lipped because of that.
Right.
And the defense attorneys, in general, their personalities, they don't want to be on camera. They don't want anything to do with it. And that's through the grapevine for people that
Wow.
work with them. Like, that's just not something they do. So we'll see.
Wow.
We'll see what happens. This comes down here in a few minutes.
Huh. Are you surprised the defense?
And that's in a day and age where any of those are trying to have book and movie deals and shit. That's crazy.
Basically, cross-examination of the prosecution witnesses. There really was not a defense case.
I was
cool.
not surprised, and I'll tell you why. I've heard all along that she was not cooperating. She does not want to throw Chad under. She does not want to throw Alex under.
New Doritos.
And she wouldn't let them do defense at all. And I think they did like all pretty much they could have done. And then in their closing argument is when Archibald came out with kind of a brainwashing theory without using the brainwashing. And Lori was very tense during all that. I don't think she knew what he was going to say in
Who are
closing.
these
And she was
reporters?
pursed lip and did not move a muscle. During prosecution closing, she was animated, she was shaking her head, she was taking notes and showing it to her attorney. But during her attorneys, she was just stiff and looking forward. And I think she was upset that basically he was telling the jury that Lori had been gullible and Chad was able to do all of this. And the interesting thing that I thought about that is maybe 6 people they got following them, right? If you think of Melanie, Zulema, Audrey, Alex, they're all Lori's people. And the funny thing is, Archibald said, you know, Chad made Lori feel like a goddess and like she was going to be this leader of 144,000. She couldn't even get 1 follower. Chad had 6 followers. And that's how he presented that whole closing argument. It was very interesting to me. Like, she's just a sap over here. And then he brought up other religious cults and cult leaders, and you know, people drink the Kool-Aid and kill themselves, and this just happens. It doesn't make sense to a lot of us, but it does happen. I thought he did honestly the best he could do with this case, but I don't think she was happy with him.
Yeah, that's great insight as to how she was interpreting how her case was being presented or not presented, or didn't care. Let me ask Anjanette, you know, you've been watching this, Anjanette, and we saw that the defense case was really a non-case. Cross-examine the prosecution witnesses. It's fine, we see that. But if you can't get the cooperation of your client,
that sounds good.
Kathy is suggesting, what are you going to do?
Yeah, there's not much you can do, Michael. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. What do you do as a defense attorney, client says, don't throw my brother under the bus. No, don't throw my husband under the bus. You don't believe you're mentally ill, but you are clearly mentally ill. We know there were competency issues at the beginning of this case, and there is something going on with her mentally. So there's not much they can do. And I'm actually surprised, since the fact that they talked about these cults and closings was brought up, cult leaders. We heard Kathy referring to this. I actually interviewed, Michael, recently, 2 people who were kind of sucked into cults when they were younger, and now they're experts in this. One was brought into an offshoot of Mormonism, extreme Mormonism, and she said she got out. Another guy had joined the Moonies in the 60s. He got out. And they said, you know, you can be manipulated and really drawn into these things. And it's surprising to me because the woman that I interviewed, Dr. Steve, she believed that Lori had been, from what she had seen, kind of indoctrinated into this. It's shocking to me that they didn't call somebody, an expert in cults, to testify about this, because Chad Daybell obviously had a hold over her. I think we can see that quite clitely.
Yeah, I'm just hearing from inside the courtroom that people are gathering, Anjanette, and we could get a verdict as little as 5 minutes. Kathy, are you hearing anything different there on the ground? Does it look like this thing is kind of coming to a head?
People here. Well, there's maybe 25 people out here gathering now, spectators. They're starting to walk up more and more, and they're taking their own video with their phones.
I don't know.
So I think as it's getting closer, we're seeing more people show up. They can't get into the courtroom, so they're likely just going to stay out here.
Yeah, and the wait. And when you announce it,
what about 3?
Rich, let me ask you this. Rich Schoenstein's here. All of the build-up to this.
What about
still
4?
Focusing on these defense arguments, it seemed to waffle between, Lori Vallow Daybell is too dumb, the follower, or Low is the.
I don't know. What about 3 or 4? You know what I'm saying? 2 for the kids, 1 for Daybell's wife, 1 for Alex, if you want count that, 1 for Charles. Give her 5. Give her 5. Make sure she don't ever get out. Preach that zombie shit in prison, lady. Preach it in prison. Yeah, if you guys hear, let me know. I'm going to go ahead. I just wanted to play that since it's live right now. And we're here in the early afternoon. Yeah, at least 5. So I'm going to get to some of this Oklahoma stuff now. So this is Crystal Strong. This is an interview on 40-29 News that she did about a week ago. So we'll watch this. It's quite older. We've been listening to a lot of her conversations on the previous 2 episodes, especially on the one before the last one that we did. We really focused a lot on her words that episode. So it would be what is it, 76, I think. Episode 176. Mainly just checked out most of her words. Then the next one we listened to more of James when it came to his. And last night, wow, that drunk turkey call, the Kim call, crazy stuff. We'll be getting into Idaho 4 coming up a lot more this weekend too, but definitely come hang out for the hangout tonight. We're going to be doing Jackbox with audio and Family Feud. I think we pretty much figured out the whole transfer and no leg and all that stuff. So I think I got it down to an average of about 4 seconds for a delay. So I think it'll work out pretty good. So this is an interview from a week ago, and then we're going to get into a lot of the newer stuff that's come out the last couple days. Alex Erickson did a live earlier, and I think she had her and Wolfie had created a map type diagram of where they were located. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if she's going to be putting up a highlight about it or not, but I'll keep my eyes out for it. So this is Crystal Strong. This is from a week ago, one of the interviews, and I think this is one where they were like pressure, like, okay, yep, okay, no, move a little bit this way. Okay, you're good. Let's go live right now. Boom. So I don't know if she's going to seem a little uncomfortable. I think this is the interview from it. After that, we already checked out a couple of those videos. We're going to look at the one with the brother. And then there's a Michelle Walks that I wanted to check out, and a couple other ones that we'll get into with information that just came out. We'll be going to Twitter too. There's a lot of stuff coming out on Twitter from somebody that I follow on there too. So this is the first interview from a little over a week ago. Every single one of themselves getting, let's stay them straight. And hopefully with this one too, because, with the binders of photos and the 4-inch stack of Polaroids, I hope they are able to identify all of these victims, because when the aunt started talking about the pictures and stuff, she obviously saw them. Whatever they were, she was clutching up in the throat and everything, so that the shit was real. Now, there's been a lot of like chatter about how this family member is, upset at this family member when it comes to the victims and such. And there's a lot of this talk about how Ivy's dad is saying that there was no red stuff clothes found, and all that that basically, like, the aunt's not being all the way truthful. So I don't understand why this is not what people think, right? When it comes to this part of the case. Who says they're both not telling the truth? What's up, Grizz? Who says they're both not telling the truth? You know what I mean? If they found the red stuff filled clothes where they had to pry a floorboard, I don't think the dude's gonna be like, yeah, he's gonna be like telling the truth. He's gonna, dude's gonna be like, yeah, I didn't see any red stuff filled clothes and all this other stuff. Of course you didn't, because you didn't look under the floorboard. She's stating they looked under the floorboard. So I don't understand why people are saying this guy, like their stories aren't matching up and this and that. It's called, no, you think deeper than that. So what he saw was only what they saw, scratch of the surface. When she came through, she was doing a little more digging. Maybe did any of them pull back a dresser? Who knows? We know the aunt pulled back a dresser because she said she pulled back a dresser and found Velcro restraints wrapped in a towel taped to the back of a dresser. Maybe they overlooked stuff. Maybe they thought they did a thorough search. Maybe this lady did just because you both found different things doesn't mean that the other one's not telling the truth. And I don't understand why people can't think about it like that, because then people are like, well, is the aunt lying or is the dad lying? Who's lying? It's like, no, they're both telling the truth. Dude found what he found. Aunt found what she found. What? I don't get it. So, first interview. I'm telling you, this case, shit just don't make sense.
says that she was the victim in the rape case that Jesse McFadden was convicted of in 2003.
Now, we usually don't identify victims of sexual assault, but in this case, she said she wanted to talk. So we have 4029's Paul Petit
Right,
sharing her
SRB.
story. Paul.
Yeah, guys, Crystal Strong told me her wounds are being torn open. She says she's both heartbroken for the victims and livid because McFadden was released from prison early.
I'm scared and sick to my stomach.
Crystal Strong is reliving a nightmare. She said she was 16 years old when Jesse McFadden raped her.
After I was tied up and everything, he did on the knife, sort of like a pocket knife or a switchblade knife to my throat.
Now 39 years old, Strong says it has been a slow, painful recovery.
He did a lot. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I've never really been able to have a normal relationship.
McFadden was convicted of first-degree rape in 2003 and sentenced to 20 years in an
Whoa.
Oklahoma prison. He served 17.
That was him back then? That was him back then?
McFadden was
Holy shit, dude. Okay, I don't know. This thing, I can't use the camera on this thing. It's making my phone be crazy and shit. It's making my phone crazy. There we go. Yeah, I can tell by the ears, but damn, dude looks different. What the hell? Well, shit, he did spend fucking damn near 20 years. Holy
was convicted
shit,
of
that dude
first-degree
looks
rape in
kind of different.
2003 and sentenced to 20 years in an Oklahoma
That's crazy. I'm still trying to. It's maybe because of the lighting, you know? Maybe because of the lighting. I can barely see his eyes and shit.
prison. He served 17. In a letter to the judge, McFadden wrote, "I'd like to get out and prove that I have changed and I'm a better person."
I
remember
bet.
just sobbing on my couch. And my daughter,
Bye,
I said, I
number
think they're
two.
going to let Jesse out of prison even after all this. And she's like, Mom, it's okay. And I said, no, it's not okay. He's going to do it again. They can't let him out.
McFadden was a registered sex offender.
I don't understand how he was able to attend all of the kids' games, their functions, and go to all the things at the Henryetta school. Like, why were you able to do any of that?
Strong believes McFadden should have been in custody for child pornography charges he faced while still behind bars for rape. Then she learned this week of the murders in Oklahoma. 5 of them.
He should have never even got credit because when you commit the same act, maybe it's just a different age, but you commit the same freaking act in prison that you got sent to prison for? Ding, 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 ding.
Were teenagers.
I had to pull over and I was just sobbing because
Ding, ding.
it's just so sad.
The fuck? Yeah, see, she
The whole
wasn't
thing
ready.
just sucks. Like, really, it just sucks. Like, I'm sorry for those families.
McFadden was scheduled to be in court Monday.
Yeah, that's the news that she was talking about. I think that was the first one that she had done, if I'm not mistaken. Verdict to be read shortly. Oh, is it still 2:45? Or wait. It was supposed to be read already, right? I mean, it just, I don't understand. Like, everybody's like, you know, when I'm sitting in here chilling and shit, you know, like just chilling back in these shows or whatever, and people are talking like, well, he did serve 85%. That's according to the law in Oklahoma. And I'm like, did you not look at his fucking... It's like, do your research. Not the creators, the people in chat I'm talking about. Some of the people in chat, It's just like, yeah, he served 85% of his sentence. Therefore, he's, that's the law. Dude, like, forget testing positive for THC in prison. Forget having the cell phones. Fuck. Put past the shit that he got busted with fucking kid porn on a fucking mobile device in a fucking prison. Like 7 years after he was locked up. Put all that shit aside. Just the fact that he committed the same type of fucking crime are in prison for what he got sent to prison for. I don't get it. So instead of serving 85%, maybe 115%? Maybe? Since you're going to let them out early if they do good, what are you supposed to do if they do the same shit in prison that they got sent to prison for? Give them 115? What's up, Colt Truth? Thank you for hopping in. And the crazy shit is there's two instances. One where they caught him. They caught him because this dude was fucking naked. The second time is when the actual cellmate came to them and said, this is what took place. And those are just the two. One that got walked in on and the second one that said something. How many more other times did this shit take place in 18 fucking years? And you let this guy out because he earned the credits to get out on early release? Like, what is it? Overcrowding? Like, what the fuck do you think it is? Like, why would they let people like this out when the dude, I mean, come on. The dude commits the same fucking crime in prison that he got sent to prison for. Should he have even been, life? Like, what the fuck? Like, I want to see. It starts right there. I want to see why this shit wasn't taken into consideration. Number one, when they gave his ass bail. Number two, when they let him out early. And number three, all he was required to do was check in once every frickin' 90 days. What? Like, all he had to do was say what's up every 90 days. I'd like to see the reasoning behind why all that took place. And then the fact that you got, we're sitting there listening to all these interviews and stuff on the first couple shows from this week. At the beginning of the week, we're listening to these family members. We're listening to the ex-cellmate. We're listening to all these people say that they reached out a time or multiple times to LE to let them know about this sick individual, and not one of them contacted him back. Every single one of their stories and statements ended with, "We did not get contact back." But let's go to the very beginning. Why was those instances or violations while he was incarcerated, why did those not get thought of when it's coming to the 85% sentence? Why those weren't thought of when it came to the bond? Why those weren't thought of when it came to just saying what's up every 90 days? The dude lived in front of a frickin' school bus stop. Not allowed. What's up, Astrospace? What was the reasoning? There's got to be paperwork behind it, right? Reasons why? It just don't make no damn sense. Is it overcrowding or what? Oh, hold on. We're going to switch to this verdict here. Are they talking?
This case, on the record, underrepresented by Mr. Wood, Ms. Blake, and Ms. Smith. The defense, Mr. Archibald Thomas, as well as the defendant who is present. The court's been advised that
Frickin'
the jury
crazy,
has reached
Astro.
a verdict at this time. Proceed.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defense ready to proceed.
Right, Cassie.
Very well. Let's
Why
have the
does my
jury trial,
phone
please.
keep doing that?
While the jurors are being brought in, I'd like to
That's true too,
indicate
Jinx.
that this matter is being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel. In addition, the court's existing conduct order is in effect, and everyone needs to comply with that conduct order. This verdict has several counts. The court is aware that all evidence sustain sort of loud outbursts or sounds that could in any way affect the proceedings in this matter as the counts are read in the verdict. And I expect to maintain order and decorum as has been the case throughout this trial with those in attendance once we get to this stage of these proceedings. So with that in mind, if the jurors are ready, they can be seated.
All right, please.
Here we go. Not really, Kevin. Not really.
Jury's all present, Dr. Your Honor.
All right,
Maybe
thank you, Mr. Bailiff. Please
3 to
be
4
seated.
hours a night, maybe. Here's the link if anybody wants to hop up.
All right, the court will note that we had alternate jurors that were excused upon deliberation, so now the remaining 12 who have deliberated are here and appear to all be properly seated. Will counsel stipulate that the juror present and properly seated from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Will the defense will stipulate? Yes, Your Honor. All right, at this time, the court will inquire then from the jury. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah.
Very well. If you have the verdict form, I'd ask the bailiff to bring that over here and we'll have it brought to the clerk to be read.
That's right. That's right. What the? I wish they came in closer on the. Let me see. Let me see if I can make this bigger here.
All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form, find that it's been properly completed, signed and dated. So at this time, I'll direct the clerk to please read the verdict into the record.
What's up?
Not much, man. How are you?
All right. I'm good. Just, here we go.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho in the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Noreen Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, defendant, case number CR 22211624. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Bryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Bryan? Answer, guilty. Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty.
Woo!
Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty.
Whoa!
Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
Bam!
All right, please be seated. Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict into the record. At this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact a true and correct verdict?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the jury will be polled at this time. Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers of each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court does find it's a unanimous verdict in this case, so I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record of this case.
Right, Jinx?
I'll now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also those alternate jurors that are in attendance today. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you want to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone at all. If you choose to talk to someone about the case, you may tell them as much or little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If you decide to discuss the case with anyone, you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors. You should limit your comments to your own perceptions and feelings. If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objections or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report that to me. At this time, then the court offers its sincere thanks to the jurors. I appreciate your patience and attentiveness throughout this lengthy trial. I also thank you again for upholding your important civic duty as jurors in this case. I'd also like to thank the attorneys who tried this case for your professionalism throughout the proceedings and in the pre-trial motions that came before trial. At this time, then, the court will discuss briefly sentencing in this case. In Idaho, pursuant to Title 19, Chapter 25, a report is required to be prepared before sentencing called a pre-sentence investigation report. In a typical case, that report takes at least 2 months to prepare. In a case such as this, it will likely take longer. The court will inquire as to a pre-sentence investigator for the time frame required to prepare the report in this case. Upon getting an estimation, then the court will reach out to counsel for determining a date for sentencing. I'll just advise everyone that will likely be, I'm thinking, at least 3 months probably before that sentencing can be scheduled to have the report completed. The court will also advise at this time then, upon conclusion of the proceedings, the defendant will be remanded back to custody of the Ada County Sheriff at this time to be transferred to the Fremont County Sheriff for further proceedings in Fremont County for sentencing. The court will also instruct the clerk to collect any of the jurors' notes pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 24.1A. At this time, then, the court will ask that the jurors and any alternates in attendance be excused from the courtroom. And I am going to direct that all in attendance here remain seated until such time as the jurors have been completely exited from the courtroom. And in addition, I'll let the jurors know there is additional information you'll be receiving through the court administration offices on your way out as you leave today. So again, thank you for your service. Court will be adjourned. And Mr. Bailiff, if you could have all rise for the jury.
All right, please.
Damn, on all counts.
Well, it doesn't matter how many times you see it, you live it, you feel it, but the verdict is never the verdict until you hear it. And that's what we just did.
Wow.
Clean sweep for the prosecution here. Guilty across the board.
Clean
3
sweep.
guilty convictions for the conspiracies in the deaths of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy. 2 for the first-degree murders of JJ and Tylee, and then the grand theft as it related to all of these victims. So, let's talk about this. Rich Schoenstein is here. Catherine Lizardo is here. Anjanette Levy is here. Kathy Russet is here. And Jeanette, because your name starts with an A, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts?
Not surprised. Not surprised. The phone calls between Lori Vallow Daybell, her sister, her son Colby. I mean, just the fact, Michael, that parents are responsible for their children. This is a woman whose children went missing and then did nothing to find them, continued to collect their Social Security benefits, went to Hawaii, danced on the beach, got married, and hung out by the swimming pool while her children were, quote, missing, and never lifted a finger to try to find them. So I think that people on the jury who had children probably were thinking, are you kidding me? And then couple that along with the all of the evidence in this case. We didn't need a videotape of Lori Vallow Daybell participating in this. We had phone calls after the fact that were recorded. We had text messages leading up to this. We had shopping for wedding rings on Amazon and wedding dresses before the murder of Tammy Daybell, pardon me, excuse me. So not shocking, not shocking. We thought maybe they'll just find conspiracy. Is that a possibility? Will they split this verdict? They did not. They as Rich Schoenstein predicted, clean sweep.
Yeah, that image of dancing on the beach in Hawaii was like figuratively dancing on the graves of the kids.
Oh, wow.
Kathy Russet is on the scene out there. Kathy, describe what the reaction was like for those that were watching.
What the hell, man? Why would you say that?
We had a few cheers. The tweets coming out of the courtroom were in real time, and the feed was a few seconds behind. So we had like alternating cheers.
I don't know. Both of
not
these
super
people,
loud
man.
cheers, but
Is
there
it
was
like the
definitely some
backups or
woohoos
something?
And A couple of cars drove by a few
Like,
minutes ago, just right after that.
Her
was
and the
honking
dude are just,
and
I don't
yelling,
know.
"Woohoo!" out
I'm
the
not
window.
feeling
So
it.
definitely a different kind of scene around here. It's calm now. Nobody, everybody's still just milling about, but you definitely heard the cheers go up.
And Gigi McKelvey's been in the courtroom, and when she comes down, we will get her.
Yeah, where's
take
Jesse
from,
and Gigi?
From that perspective. Hey, Kathy.
And Michael?
Yes, I hear that.
Or
I believe the
Annette.
Woodcocks are going to be speaking. Is that right? What do you know about that?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Larry and Kay are going to come up. Set up behind me is a press conference area. We have our second camera over there and our second microphone, so you won't miss a thing. As soon as they come out and speak, we'll definitely go there. And we don't know who else will choose to speak. Again, the attorneys have said they will not, so we will see who else. But we are set up to take anything live that happens over. It's just kind of just right behind me, right in the middle of this plaza here.
Okay, tell us again what the prosecution and defense will and won't do.
So the defense did not want to speak on camera. Prosecution does not want to speak on camera. Prosecution will likely, we didn't get a 100%, issue a statement. That we get that often after trials sent to the media. But their spokesperson was saying that she's about 90% sure that she'll be at least allowed to come out and read that statement on camera. So we'll see if that ends up happening and whoever else we can grab along the way.
That's let me ask you this: the prosecution is very common that they come out and they're not celebrating per se. This is a horrible case, but they come out and they acknowledge that they won. Kind of interesting that they don't have any interest in doing that.
Yeah, you know why? This is Idaho. This is small town, and when I say small town,
Just
we're
a few
Boise,
minutes
very
ago,
big,
Josie.
big city. But these prosecutors are from very small town Idaho. They don't want the limelight. They don't want the cameras. They just want to get back to work, get along their business, and they still have another case to try. So I never expected them to do a lot of media.
Yeah, that may keep them quiet more than anything else. The Chad case hanging over them. It's a hanging Chad, I guess it is. So Rich Schoenstein
Who
is
the
still here with
fuck?
me. Rich, I know you've always got a thought or two. What do you think?
I think this is
This
the
guy thinks he's
predictable
fucking a
result of the
comedian or
microscope.
something.
You talk about, it's only circumstantial evidence, but the evidence in this case was overwhelming. There's,
That's
to me,
usually how
what
media
really
is, man.
stood out were the buying of the wedding rings.
This host, I never even
before
seen him on
Tammy
this channel
Daybell was
before.
dead, and
He's making some
honeymooning in
dumbass
Hawaii
fucking
afterwards.
comments.
And that just shows, jurors are human beings. They know
You know the
guilt
media
when they
saying, man,
see
if it bleeds,
They
it
know
leads.
abhorrent behavior when they see it, and when they see enough evidence of
I don't
it,
know. I got
and
issues
then
with
you
it.
throw into that Lori's phone calls where she's
I didn't say I
denying
don't.
things, and that's not going over well. The texts, the great timeline that the prosecution put together. I think at the end of the day, it was a very powerful circumstantial case. And on the defense side, nothing. No witnesses, and no real theory of what else happened here. No real coherent. We talked about their own closing argument was inconsistent, internally inconsistent. So you have a very powerful prosecution case. You have really nothing the defense can do, although I thought the lawyers did what they could with a bad case, and this is the result we get.
Yeah, and based on what Kathy has shared with us about the interaction between Lori Vallow Daybell and her attorneys, or lack of interaction, it makes perfect sense that they almost had to just throw their hands up and say, okay, you're not giving us much to work with here. Catherine Lizardo, we thought that the Tammy portion of the case could be the teeter, could have gone either way.
Ooh,
But if
another
you think
joke's
about
coming.
if you separate out the children, that's really the more understandable, believable, normal, quote, normal case. You've got the new girlfriend wanting to take care of the former competition. So in that sense, I think it was maybe an easier part of the case. It just pales in ugliness compared to the rest of it with the kids.
I think they're discussing the
Sadly, we have to
sentencing
say
right now.
that it is more of a common sense, normal thing we see in these trials and these cases where, yes, if you have a wife that's in between your love interest, that's what happens to them, that they are murdered. But with this verdict, as what all of us have said, this is what I expected to be a sweeping guilty verdict and what everyone has expected. And with the religious undertone of this, not undertone, but the religious glaring issue in this trial. What's ironic is that Lori, Alex, and Chad took extensive efforts to obliterate the remains of JJ and Tylee, and also to make sure that Tammy Daybell's murder was not considered murder. But for some divine intervention, their remains were found, however little they were, and that the evidence of their death and murder were actually proven in this trial.
Yeah. Let's go back out live to Kathy Russin. Any sign of the woodcocks yet there, Kathy? Are they queuing up? What's it look like?
No, my guess is there's a lot of tears flowing upstairs. Gigi will be down here in a few minutes and be able to give us the reactions that happen, but I am sure Larry and Kay have tears, and Larry probably
Or they're
has a
probably
little
waiting
bit of
for the
hollering going on
sentencing,
up
I'd
there.
imagine.
So I can see from behind you and in that general area there, things have kind of cleared out already. It reminds me of the number
Zelda
of verdicts
sounds
we've
fun.
covered where there hasn't been a lot of hanging out and cheering and commiserating. It's more like a drive-by, that people showed up, there's the
30
verdict, and
days?
then they moved on.
Yeah, actually, that's
I
very
thought he
true.
said 2 months at least.
I would say that now maybe only about half the crowd is left. It's mostly media here right now. We do have our second photographer walking around and
Oh,
getting some
wow.
interviews, so hopefully we can play those back for you here in a little bit. And as soon as Gigi gets down here, I'm going to swap out spots with her because we definitely want to hear courtroom reaction and juror reaction.
Yeah, the
I'm sure
feed,
it's all
as
the
we
same.
Saw it was a tri-screen, which of course means every image is smaller, and it was very hard to tell exactly what, if any, reaction there was from Lori Vallow, Daybell, or her team.
Oh,
or
and
anybody.
Michael, can I add to that?
Yeah.
The judge, very last minute, like an hour before we found out there was going to be a verdict, so 2 hours before it was read, very last minute, he allowed for a still pool photographer to go in. So we will end up getting still photos probably very quickly coming out after that. That was shocked by all of us because, we've not seen good photos like that of her this entire trial. So those should be coming out shortly.
Yeah, that'll be very helpful because it was so hard to kind of see exactly what the reaction was. We'll get Gigi McKelvey's version of that. She was sitting in that courtroom. When she comes down, we will listen to what she had to do.
You needed to see it on
what she felt from
drawing.
the defendant and the team there.
How about you just
And
rely
Jeanette,
on your
as
coworker
we
to
now get
tell
ready
you
for
what
next
the
phase,
reactions
and I guess there are a lot
were.
of next phases
What the
in this
hell?
particular case. There's the sentencing phase, which we now hear is going to be as far as 3 months out. Tell us what the options are on that. Is it a mandatory life without parole? What if anything is the judge does he have discretion on?
I need to look over the statutes on that and the punishments on that, Michael, but I can't imagine it's going to be anything less than life in prison without parole because of the number of counts involved here and the fact that you have some aggravating circumstances.
Right. That's a good question.
The statutes are written differently in every state, but she was found guilty of conspiracy. That means there was a plan. There was knowledge of this.
Yep.
It happened with forethought. So this is something that could have been stopped, and the jury found that it wasn't
okay, Pam.
stopped. So I think that there will be a pre-sentence investigation. Lori Vallow Daybell could opt not to take part in that pre-sentence investigation. That's very possible. If she's not assisting in her defense as she should be, she may refuse to take part in the pre-sentence investigation. But there is so much that we have here in the way of evidence, whether it's video evidence, phone calls, text messages, the computer searches, all of it, the behavior after the fact and beforehand, that they can use to evaluate her for a pre-sentence investigation.
Yeah, and that's generally what it is. It's to find out whether there are any extraneous circumstances that would affect the sentence, whether it be emotional, mental, factual. But you're right, Anjanette, if she's just going to say, do what you need to do, as she seems to have done through her entire defense, that process could be, really useless.
And we've seen cases where that happens, where a defendant declines to take part. That does happen from time to time, not all of the time, but it does. And it's important for our viewers to realize too, those pre-sentence investigations, those are not something we get to see. Those are kept private between the prosecution, the defense. The court gets to see that. We won't get to see that, but we know a lot. There's a lot we don't know still, but I think we know pretty much what happened leading up to this, and obviously what happened in the aftermath. So I think there's still some questions. The big question marks are, what is her exact mental health diagnosis? There have been some kind of leaked reporting about that, but we've never really gotten an answer on her mental health diagnosis.
Yeah, and I would think it would have to be something unbelievably unexpected to affect the ultimate sentence in this case. So we'll find out. Sentencing in roughly 90 days, according to.
Okay, 90 days. So we'll go ahead and move on from that. My bad. I thought they were coming out with it soon. I thought they just had to go back in and discuss it. But I don't know. I usually don't get to watch live court or even care to see what the sentencing is, because once you find out what they're guilty of, it's pretty obvious what it's probably going to be, unless it has a death sentence involved with it. Looks like Kevin got disconnected. He's going to mess with his settings, he said. Let's see if he can. Yeah, they had the video, but it was so hard to see. And as I was looking at it, it didn't appear like she had any kind of reaction. I couldn't see her face, but I was looking at her, her head, her arms, her shoulders. I didn't see any movement at all, really. I didn't see any movement at all. So I'm not sure. I guess we could sit and see what they say about the reaction with Gigi, but I don't know.
Okay, thanks to everybody. We're going to take a quick break here, but
all right, they're taking a break anyway. Yeah, I didn't really see any reaction. Let me see here. I added a video. Where did it go? Yeah, they did show it live, but they had each of the cameras up, and they were just, the feed was so small. It was definitely hard to see exactly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the Oklahoma stuff here now. And if you'd like a link, just let me know. I'll throw it out there for you. This next video we're going to watch, this is with the brother, kind of discussing the kind of shit that the brother was into. And then we'll get into the other updates that have come out the last couple days. And then I'll be making a visit over to Twitter, and we'll be showing the new stuff on Twitter as well. We did do a read-through, or I did a read-through of the OSBI statement from yesterday at the end of last night's show. I made a short video of it, so if you want to check it out and see what their statement was, just go ahead and watch that quick video. It's only a few minutes. Okay, so we're going to get into this video with the brother, and he's also a longtime violent criminal.
You've been hearing a whole lot about Jesse McFadden in the last week, the man who murdered his wife, her 3 kids, and 2 kids who came for a sleepover, and probably molested and maybe murdered many other children. Some of the children featured in photographs and ledgers found in his sex torture chamber home by family members of the victims, and then eventually by the police. And it turns out Jesse had a younger brother, still does, in prison, a guy named Cody McFadden. And apple didn't fall far from Jesse's tree there. Cody McFadden has quite a rap sheet of his own, sadistic and violent crimes. Let's just run through them since 2010, shall we? Making meth, assault with a deadly weapon, battery, aggravated assault, arson, assaulting a doctor, assaulting a police officer, cruelty to animals, and just most recently, last summer, that's July of 2022, He locked his ex-girlfriend in a dog cage for an entire day. He tortured her. He beat her bloody with a stick to the point where there was blood on every part of her body. He reportedly used jumper cables to electrocute her. She escaped, and he set his house on fire in a standoff with the police. He's currently in jail on kidnapping and felony assault. And to prove how dangerous he is, he's on $1 million bond. $1 million bond. This is a guy who reported he had zero assets, zero income, that his entire employment was considered food stamps. A guy who has no money and gets $1 billion bond. That's a guy they don't want getting out. That's a dangerous, dangerous felon. And that's Jesse McFadden's dear brother. I want to bring in Robin Dreek. He's a retired FBI special agent who managed the Bureau's counterintelligence behavioral analysis program. Robin, first of all, let's just talk about Cody for a minute. How was a guy walking the streets as early as July of last year and able to commit that hideous and sadistic series of crimes against that girlfriend, that ex-girlfriend, with 15 years of violent criminal felony behavior? How was he walking the street last summer?
How's any of this happen, Ashley? This whole system down there right now is broken. As your last guest is saying, the former ADEC, he articulated perfectly. Everything down there needs to be redone and revamped, and you need to bring in outside people right now. The leadership needs to be shaken up massively. I can't explain any of this. It's just tragic, all of it, internally, externally, everything.
I feel like the FBI should be all over it, and the Oklahoma authorities should just pack up and head out, especially how they're treating the press, telling the family members, we're not their friends, don't speak to the press, and then denying us any transparency at all when we just asked for the warrant. The results of the warrant, please. In the same place you screwed up so massively for 9 straight days. Can't get that either. Our Freedom of Information request was denied. No reason given other than the law, which is baloney, and we know it. Okay, the other thing I needed to ask you about is looking at Cody McFadden as compared to Jesse McFadden. Is there such a thing as a bad gene? It's shocking to me to see this much sadistic criminal behavior among brothers.
So, yes. I'll say it's always a blend of nature and nurture in situations, and clearly there's a lot of nature in here too, because lightning very rarely strikes twice to that degree genetically, but it couldn't happen. But definitely there's a lot of behaviors, and both these individuals have what I call reps. They had a lot of early reps in life and started with animal cruelty most likely, and started to abuse them, and they just kept escalating throughout their lives. And when you start feeding on that, and you're in a community that's feeding on that, and like I just learned on night that there's a lot of other child in the area, that is just a really bad situation where people are feeling safe to do really heinous crimes, and so that makes a recipe for disaster as well.
And that information came to us from the lawyer for Ivy Webster's parents. Ivy Webster, one of the sleepover children who had come for a slumber party and ended up murdered along with 6 others. The other question I have for you is it so far off to think that Cody may have engaged in any of the criminal, that there was so much opportunity for Cody, who lived just around the corner and at one point lived in his mother's house with his brother when they were adults.
Ain't that crazy?
So much opportunity for criminal behavior right inside that sickening farmhouse. Is it a stretch to think that maybe Cody might be involved as well?
I don't think it's a stretch at all. I mean, it makes sense. You have time and space overlaps. You have modus of life overlaps. They have very similar violent backgrounds. And so right now, and I love the fact that your last guest said one of the things the FBI does really well is the child protection task force that we have. And that is they come in and they can start drawing linkages through data online, through the dark web, all these things to start spreading this net out to kind of figure out who's who, who's doing what, find victims and find the perpetrators more than anything, because they're out there. We have an opportunity here, if handled well,
hey, Robin,
to do that.
wouldn't it be nice? Would it be nice if we could announce to that community that the Oklahoma State authorities, the Sheriff's Department, the FBI, they need your help. If you think you may have been abused by this person, we need your help to find others. Nope, they won't speak to us at all. They won't even tell us what they took from the house. I think they're covering their butts in the worst way at this point.
Damn straight.
And it's shameful to see what's transpiring in this awful, awful case.
Damn straight they're trying to cover their asses, but the thing is you can't cover, like, it's obvious what the fuck. It's obvious what the fuck. Shit's on video. You have shit on video. You have fucking video of deputies fucking turning down evidence, saying it's closed down. End of story. Case closed. No evidence left. Throw it in the garbage if you don't want to take it home with you. Just throw it in the garbage. And that's from a fucking LE. It's ridiculous. So this is an article from meaww.com. Jesse McFadden's Our Survivor says his brother Cody struck a woman with an axe and locked her in a kennel. A victim of Jesse McFadden has revealed that his brother once attacked a woman and locked her inside a dog cage. She now has opened up about an attack on a woman by McFadden's brother, Cody. He put her in a dog kennel. She's not actually my family member, but she's my stepmom's family, so that's close enough to home. It is fucked up. Jinx. Oh, I wish I could take our past shows and just like sum them up real quick. The amount of shit that we've seen, the amount of shit that we've noticed, the amount of shit that we've put our heads together. I ain't gonna lie, it's like Delphi. Ain't gonna lie. Shit's deep already, and we're only a week, almost 2 weeks in. We're a week and a half in, and shit is so freaking deep already. There was one of the first interviews in the first show that we did. That's what Ivy's dad was asking in all those interviews, is he wanted to know, but they pretty much knew, Cassie, because when the parents were talking about it, because they were asked the last time that they were contacted. This was in, like, I think their first interview. that they did with a local TV station, and they asked him that question, and they said, well, our daughter usually texts us this kind of way, kind of like Gabby Petito, her mom, noticed she don't text like that. That's not how she text messages me. So it was kind of one of those things where the parents realized that their daughter, the message wasn't like a typical text message from their daughter, and they pretty much knew before Ellie knew, is what it is. Because they know how they even said, like, I can't remember exactly what they said about how she types and texts, but there's a lot of I love yous and stuff, and this one didn't have any I love you. So that's what kind of told the parents from the get-go that yeah, we think that she was already gone at this point. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they already knew that she's pretty much almost gone at this point. We are going to have we listened to the aunt on the last show. We will be checking out what the dad says for Ivy's dad, and I think I have something for Justin. But we'll be going into that too. Let me see here. And the reason I'm kind of doing this afternoon stream is because I want to make sure that I can get all of these updates caught up. So that way, when we're on our next show, it's, I can imagine the updates that are going to be coming on the next one. Because the way that this stuff gets, is just every day is just like, what? So, and I'll be doing my stream tonight. And I'll just be having a short break in between. So it's going to be a non-stop day for this guy over here. But that's okay. Because we want to stay up to date on this stuff. It's important. Okay, so this is an article. Who is Cody McFadden? Again, this is from the article Jesse McFadden's Our Survivors. It says his brother Cody struck a woman with an axe and locked her in kennel. From meaww.com, May 2nd, 2023. Who is Cody McFadden? Cody, like his brother, is a convicted felon. Deputies from Pittsburgh County, Oklahoma, said they were responding to a domestic violence call on July 17th, 2022, when they came across a woman who was injured and bleeding. Her arms, legs, head, and back were bleeding, and she was covered in bruises. A federal criminal complaint said she also had a broken arm. Oh my gosh. The woman told authorities that the man who beat her with a pole and pushed her into a dog cage, he then used pepper spray on her and used jumper cables to shock her. She was even struck in the head with an axe. She was eventually able to escape. Cody lit his home on fire and tried to escape after a standoff with deputies, but was arrested. He was charged with kidnapping and assault on the Choctaw Nation Reservation. As per court records, he was later found unfit to stand trial. What? A federal judge ordered that Cody be committed to an institution. He was found unfit to stand trial? Wow. Huh. I didn't know that. I didn't know he's in a institution. Found unfit to stand trial. Wow. So let me go back to that video again real quick. So he was found unfit. Interesting. Huh. It makes you wonder what they grew up. You know, like, what the hell was their childhood like? Because I hear all these, these law experts and all this stuff talking about, how it's crazy, like how one family's DNA, or usually DNA just makes one, but it made two in this case. And it's like, okay, well, then that tells me that something probably happened during their childhood. Because if you have two bros into the same type of sick, twisted shit, where do you think they might have learned it from? It makes you wonder what the mom has all covered up this whole time ever since they were little kids, assaulting other people on a school bus when they were younger. That too. But I just can't stop thinking whenever I think of that aunt, and I always go back to that heartbreaking interview that she did on News Nation. I always just go back to those Polaroids. Like, I bet you there was some crazy okay, when she was talking in that interview and she said that she didn't even know if she could say, even because Banfield was asking her for just a general description, was it this, was it that? And she's like, I don't even know if I could say it on camera. So to me, and then the way that she reacted, if you guys haven't seen the video, let me the way she reacted, it's almost like them fucking Polaroids were probably so twisted that even when you're looking at true crime and you're watching true crime, okay, there's some sick twisted shit already that you would imagine would be on Polaroids. But what if this shit was so fucking twisted? I don't know. Like, was the dad gone? Was there a lot of men that came in and out. Like, who knows? It would be interesting. 'Cause, I mean, seriously. And then the younger brother, Jesse, wasn't found unfit. It was his younger brother. So I wonder if his younger brother, if there's shit that was taking place back then, I wonder if the younger brother got it worse. Because Jesse, he's just tying people up, chaining people up, restraining people, an item person. This Cody shit, that's another level. That's beyond Jesse's level, and that's twisted shit right there. But you go to Cody's level where he's fucking breaking bones and fucking hitting axes on the head and fucking electrocuting with battery cables, jumper cables. Like what? Whoa. What if it was made to look like an unalive self-unalive? What if... Ooh, I don't know, though. Can you really trust what Ellie said right now after all this stuff that we've gone over? Can we even trust that it was a unalive, self-unalive situation? Could it be a possibility that it was somebody else that took out 7 people? What if Cody and Jesse were part of some kind of network? Cody already was found unfit. It was Jesse's turn. He already said he didn't want to go back. Could he have maybe started to talk? That's just a crazy ass theory. Not that there's anything to fucking support that. You just never frickin' know. So that is Cody. Just a little read through there. Thank you for the article. I can't remember who sent it to me. I apologize. Well, gosh, I wish I could tell you guys what I've been thinking for like a week. I wish. And there was something else that came out last night too. In regards to the 54 SRB. SRB. This one was 30. And it was with a different brand. and that just took place 2 days ago. I don't know. I'm waiting for. I've been thinking this shit for a week because you just put common sense in these pieces, and yeah, the ring stuff that could definitely be, speculated, discussed, whatever. With this other stuff that I've been thinking for the last week, and I think the CP shit is kind of parallel with this other connection, I think. We might get into it. Not today, though. I can't. I have to let it sizzle. I have to let it sizzle for a little bit, and I have to wait for more. I have to wait for more. SRB knows a little bit. My coworkers, I tell my coworker, yeah, I discuss it like nothing with the coworkers. But here, need a little information. But if we ever do a sub-only Twitch night, I'll say it on Twitch. I don't have no problem saying that shit on Twitch. And it'll be sub-only. So, even if you follow me, sorry, you gotta use that Amazon Prime free sub, and then you can hear it. Because it ain't gonna stay... It ain't going to be in the past broadcast. It ain't going to be saved. It ain't. But I'll go through the whole damn fucking thing on Twitch, and it'll be just the same set. You know what? Maybe. Ooh. Maybe tomorrow night. Maybe tomorrow night I'll do my first Twitch only night. Where you got to be a sub, and then that can be your membership without CJ being able to offer memberships, because I can't. But I will definitely, I will definitely fucking go through the whole thing on Twitch only. It'll be the same setup like we do on the Evil CJ. I'm just going to make it its own background because it's going to be a Twitch-only show. We can have the open panel. Yeah, we can talk about a lot of different shit. We can watch something on Prime, Josie, because I can host Twitch watch parties where we can all watch anything on Prime. But no, I was just mentioning the Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can sub me for free, because I'm gonna be doing my Twitch only, sub only shows. You know what I mean? Because like members, there's members only. I was thinking about this a few days ago. Because like I think it's stupid that okay, it's one thing, the monetized super stickers and all that stuff. Okay, fine. I got to get to 1,000, whatever. Do I think those should be restricted to 1,000 and above? No, because I think if somebody wants to give you a super sticker, they should be able to give you a fucking super sticker. But what really upsets me is that I can't, I think it's so stupid that you can't have memberships from the get-go. Or maybe make it like 100 subs or something, right? And then you can, because why shouldn't I, like, you guys support the show all the time. So why shouldn't I be able to offer you guys something for supporting the damn show? Why shouldn't I be able to offer you custom emojis and different perks and things like that when you support the show like you guys do? It pisses me off. I think it's stupid. Like, I don't even care. The super stickers, that's one thing. You know, that that's like a one-way transaction. I'm talking about the memberships where it's a two-way transaction, where I'm doing something for you because you're doing something for me. Like, you get something too. There we go. There's Josie messaging from Twitch, because I streamed to Twitch as well when I streamed the Evil CJ show on YouTube. But that's what I don't understand. Like, I should be able to do these things. So while I was like, man, what can I do to, like, do something for people where they can support the show, but at the same time they get shit back? And then that's when I came up with the idea of having the Twitch only sub only nights. And if you have Amazon Prime, which most people do, you get a free sub. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, then it's only like $5. And you get the exclusive. Nobody else is going to see this shit. Oh, there's Cassie as well. What's up, Cassie? Nobody's going to see this shit from YouTube, you know, so that's exclusive for the subs. Nobody's going to see it on replay because the replay won't exist, because there won't be a replay on sub Twitch only shows. And it's something that you guys can have for support, because you're still supporting the Evil CJ show. We're just on a night where YouTube and Facebook and Twitter are in ghost mode, and we're just hanging out on Twitch. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. I think I might do that. Thank you, Josie. It always shows up weird when it comes to YouTube. Yeah, so if you have Amazon Prime, it's a free sub. You don't even have to pay for it, and that gives you the sub benefits on Twitch. So yeah, maybe we'll do that. I'll do my theories on there, because I'll talk about it like the whole show. It could be the whole show. We can go through it. I can get on Google Maps. We can go through some of the other clips and stuff. We can definitely go into a deep dive on this shit. It's just I want to keep, you know, that's like a conspiracy type shit over there. This is, you know, this is responsible shit right here. What's up, Kid Kitty? What's up, Dre? Yeah, thank you, Josie, for that. No, like Amazon Prime, it's you get free shipping with it, you know. And if you do have Amazon Prime, then you're able to do watch parties. But we pretty much do the watch parties on Friday nights. Because honestly, like, it's like we're watching Tales from the Crypt, which we'll have another episode tonight when we do the hangout show tonight. Yeah, if here, let me see. I'll type in my link to Twitch, and if you don't have Twitch, you can just click on the link and it'll take you there. Usually Twitch is on your smart TV apps. You can use PC. You can on most your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Roku. Well, no, I don't think Roku has Twitch. I think that's the only one that doesn't. There you go. Make sure you click the follow. That one's free. And then the sub is Amazon Prime or whichever. All right, so let me see here. And since we were talking about the ant, I'm going to go ahead and play that video again real quick. Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about if you haven't seen her video or know what we're talking about. I really think that you should see this one, because when we go into the next one with the dad of one of the victims, I believe he references this conversation, and there's some difference of opinions, I'll say. So I really would, even though we've watched this already, and there is a short highlight that I made about it, I do want to play this again just so everybody that hasn't seen it can fully understand both sides. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. And we'll be back on tonight at 7 o'clock Central. I'm going to try Jackbox with audio. We got 20-some Jackbox games. Family Feud. We're going to try out Wheel of Evil. And we're going to kick back in the beginning and watch an episode of Tales from the Crypt or something. So definitely come back tonight. I already have a notification set up for it. So go ahead and bounce out real quick. Hit the notification and the like on that one and come right back in. Oh. All right. Here is the ant. Now, this is from 3 days ago. The one from the dad of one of the victims was from 2 nights ago.
It's hard to believe that there was anything more to be found. But how is it that you and your family were able to get back into that home and discover yet even more evidence?
Everybody, don't worry about the bits stuff. I just want to give, the bits is like, you can do it, honestly, because I am monetized on Twitch. I'm not even worried about the monetized shit. It's more about being able to give you guys something for the support that you show me, beyond the fucking show and the time and the effort that I do. I just wish YouTube would change it, man. Just make memberships available for everybody. I don't even care about the super stickers.
On Friday, the landlord, as we were planning the funeral, notified us that we had 3 days to get on the property or everything was going to go in a dumpster this Monday. We stopped the funeral, and myself, Holly's godmother, and
there's tonight,
her
Cassie.
godmother's daughter, just the 3 of us,
Or
went
this
to the
weekend.
house. And we found 5 phones. We found a notebook ledger with the names.
Here, let me zoom that in. And I thought she said bones. She says phones. Thank you, SRB. On that highlight video that I made, I was like, she said bones? I was like, dude. But you never know. You know what I'm saying? This is like new evidence. I'm like, shit, no way. What? SRB said, I think she said phone, CJ. I was like, oh, okay.
It's hard to believe that there was anything more that could be found. But how is it that you and your family were able to get back into that home and discover yet even more evidence?
On Friday, the landlord, as we were planning the funeral, notified us that we had 3 days to get on the property or everything was going to go in a dumpster this Monday. We stopped the funeral, and myself, Holly's godmother, and her godmother's daughter, just the 3 of us, went to the house. And we found 5 phones. We found a notebook ledger with the names. We just found other things, and that's the other family members come. The police came. Yeah, we found a lot of horrifying things. But
can you explain, Lynn, a little bit more about the ledger? Whose handwriting was it, and what was in the ledger?
Just names and ages, like numbers. I didn't recognize, but I knew it was something important. We did turn it over to the police. The most probably disturbing evidence I found that day is I pulled the dresser out, and behind it was a towel with duct tape all around it, and I pulled it, and it was restraints, Velcro restraints, unlike the other restraints, which was laying all through the house. This one was taped to the back of the dresser. I asked the deputy.
And also, I don't understand why anybody would think that somebody would make this shit up. So for all those people out here on YouTube world thinking that people like just watch this lady's reaction, rewind this shit, really pay attention. Do you really think she's making this shit up?
That was on the scene if you wanted it. This is not an active crime scene. It's solved. If you don't want it, put it in the dumpster. And I begged.
This is what the deputy told to you over the weekend. You found additional restraints that very well could have had DNA of potentially other victims on it.
And there's an actual video of that shit of another parent talking about evidence and them saying the same shit.
I begged him, please take this. I said, please take this. It's not like the chains. They weren't laid out. They were taped behind a dresser. He said, the victims are dead. The perpetrator's dead. If you don't want them, ma'am, put them in the dumpster. I said, why would I want them?
Doing with them?
I put them in a garbage bag. On that day, we thought what we would do is hire a private investigator. I hid him in the house and we left. In fact, I had told by the police I had to leave or he was going to arrest me. When I asked for what, he said, we're not leaving. I was like, I have permission to be here, but we left and we returned and nothing could prepare anyone for what we had to find.
Can you tell me a little bit more, Lynn, about what you found under the floorboards?
The first set of clothes wasn't in the floorboards. They were wadded up in the closet. The first pair that was just some bloody shorts, but the second, and to me, the dry blood was obvious, but it was the second pair of little underwear. The fluid was, yeah, we put those in garbage bags. We went back to get as much evidence out before my brother and the grandmother got there. When the OSVI got there, I gave my interview and I said, no, what I say. No one had to collect what I had to. I'm not a crime scene investigator. I'm not a police officer. I should not have had to see those things. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. OSCI was amazing, but that's just, there was just a lot of stuff that in time I really want to sit down and talk to someone about. I need to be sensitive to the victims, my own family members. Some don't even know. I stepped on a hypodermic needle. I got.
Lynn, can I ask you about the nature? I know this is extraordinarily difficult, but it is so critical, this evidence, because there may be other missing children out there.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me the nature of the Polaroids, the 4-inch stack of Polaroids?
There was a lot of pictures, not just Polaroids. I found probably 4 binders. They're about this thick. I started opening them up. The first thing was Jesse McFadden's psychological evaluation. I'm just trying to be so sensitive. I don't even know if I can publicly say some of the things that it can be on TV. I don't know how to say it.
Were the pictures of children, and were they sexual in nature?
I don't want to talk about it, okay?
I understand.
I promise.
Were you able to turn
I
those
turned it-
photographs
I
over to
turned-
the police?
I turned everything I found. I turned over correspondence with other inmates. I turned everything over that I could find.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television.
Oh, nice. You got some sun. Hell yeah. Okay, next we're going to go to a video on News Nation with a former FBI agent. I have not seen her on News Nation before, so I do want to check out what she has to say. And then after that, we're going to go to the Law and Crime Network, where they sat down and had an exclusive with the father, the one that I'm talking about. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and end the show for the afternoon, and then I'll be getting ready to meet you all back here at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern for tonight's Hangout episode. Can't wait. I'm excited for that. So this is former FBI agent. I'm not sure who she is. Now, she's going to be talking about evidence hinting at potentially more victims when it comes to the McFadden case. So I definitely want to check out what she has to say. And I haven't seen her. Got the first badge. Yeah, you keep typing and you rank up in badges. So if we're going to have a presence on Twitch, I will definitely make some customized stuff for that too, because I keep getting warnings from Twitch to make custom stuff. I just never hang out on Twitch, but I definitely will start. We'll go into that fucking theory. Same setup as the YouTube show. It'll look just like the YouTube show, but it'll be a sub-only Twitch night. We'll definitely go into that shit. All right, so this is the video here. And then we'll get into that father's interview I was talking about.
An act of crime.
Then I got a couple shorts I got to make.
The pictures that you see scrolling on your screen right now are missing children in Oklahoma. And we've only chosen the missing children who have gone missing since Jesse McFadden was let out of prison in November of 2020. So for the entire time that I'm going to discuss this next segment, you will see these children and their names and their faces.
And so I'm going to go ahead. I did not know that this was going to take place. That's awesome. I appreciate that from News Nation. Here is the link to this video if you'd like to take a jot of all the names. These, I'm going to replay that. These are all the missing children from Oklahoma since his release. That's very interesting. Where's the first name? I don't see it. Is it okay? So they're going to be at the bottoms. I got it on. It's on full screen, so I'm not. Yeah, I never checked this one out yet. I think this would be a look at Cassie and Josie hanging out on Twitch. I wish you guys, can you guys see YouTube type? Everybody on YouTube type on Twitch? I don't think you can you? You can only see Twitch and Bautismo, right? Let me know what the quality is like over there on Twitch too, because I never watch them. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll go ahead and start this video over and we'll play the whole thing here And then the quality is good. Look at that. There's a different color Twitch bubble. Now, I think if you guys add your YouTube picture to your Twitch, I think that does show up on the chat. So you guys could have the same picture that you do on YouTube as Twitch, and then they can still see. And then I always highlight everybody's comments anyway, so you guys would be able to see. I think it looks clearer. Really? Yeah, you guys are different colors. That's weird. Yeah, this Oklahoma stuff, Kid Kitty, this shit is deep as fuck. This is no lie. All right, so this is cool. I like this video. I think I'm going to have to make a video out of it just to get these names out there. And then they got the pictures, and it's going to be scrolling the whole time. Bravo, News Nation. You can see YouTube chat, but only if I display it, right, Cassie? Let me know. All right, here we go. And now we'll put the link in chat again in case you missed it. This is for the video that's going to show all these names here.
Active crime scene.
Bravo, News Nation, for
This
doing
case is
this.
solved. The pictures that you see scrolling on your channel are missing children in Oklahoma. And we've only chosen the missing children who have gone missing since Jesse McFadden was let out of prison in November of 2020. So for the entire time that I'm going to discuss this next segment, you will see these children and their names and their faces and their ages. They are all missing. This came to us from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The curious thing is why were these kids
That's cool. Their
not
pictures,
top of
their
mind
names, their
when they
ages are
found that
getting
horrible sex
out there.
chamber?
That's awesome.
Why did they not think it was possible? Maybe even probable, given that Jesse McFadden murdered his entire family and 2 kids on a sleepover. And then he had all of that sex paraphernalia and dungeon-like equipment in his home. Why is it not plausible
Disturbing.
that maybe one of these kids may have been there?
That's what we thought.
Maybe one of these kids may have died
It's a
there.
lot bigger than what we think.
Lynn Wyatt is the aunt of Holly. Holly is his wife. She got a bullet to the head too. It is possible she was even complicit in these sexual crimes that occurred there. Why? Because she said, although it's being disputed, she said she found blood-covered children's clothes under the floorboards of the house, ledgers with names and ages, that's not being disputed, hidden Velcro restraints, not disputed, handfuls of pictures, somewhat disputed, dozens of cell phones, and even bones on the property. And yet, a deputy told these family members, this isn't an active crime scene, it's solved. What good would it do to continue working in here to solve? The only person who knows what happened here is, what good would it do? What good would these faces? Look at these faces of missing kids. This is what good it might do. We might get every one of these kids represents a family with a hole in their heart. They need answers. They deserve answers. And they deserve police to give them those answers. Joining me now is Kathleen Canning-Mello. She was an FBI agent and profiler for more than
Thank you for the
30
sub
years,
give, Cassie.
specializing in violent crime and investigations involving children. What are the chances, Kathleen, that there were more victims, possibly some of these kids, that had seen that home?
I think there is definitely a possibility. And given what we know about Jesse McFadden's behavior, the fact that he was a sexual predator, and I'm seeing many characteristics of psychopathy in his behavior as well, during the decades-long patterns that we have seen during his lifetime of offending, I think it's a question that needs to be answered. And I think now I'm happy and relieved to see that the OSBI is now investigating this case, and especially having taken control of all of those electronic devices, because those would be the first things that we would seize in a case like this in order to determine what kind of collection he may have had in those devices, who he was corresponding with over the last few years. And what's really, I think, important to note when I'm thinking about psychopathy, you know, his lack of empathy, the fact that he had early behavioral problems going back to his teen years in terms of his sexual predation of others. But also this manipulation that we see when he had told Holly, he actually had hired somebody to tell Holly that the violent rape that he had committed back in 2003 was not a rape and that it was a misunderstanding. So there are a lot of red flags for me that may indicate that he may have other victims because he was a very prolific sex offender and very highly competent in terms of his manipulation of others.
Can I ask you, when Aunt Lynn told us that she discovered when she moved a dresser Velcro restraints that were taped to the back of the dresser, and asked, this is in her estimation, this is her description, she asked the officer who was on scene, would you like to take them? He said, no, you can either toss them out or take them home, but everything here is going to be
Ain't that
thrown out.
ridiculous?
I just imagine
Thank
that
you for the
Velcro
sub,
restraints would
Cassie.
be rich with evidence and DNA. I would assume that's how you match potential kids
Right?
like this with scenes like
Or
that.
look up
Sheets,
stuff on the
bedding,
computer.
restraints, everything seemed to be left
Or the
behind,
phones.
just rich with all this evidence.
Yes, I mean, from the start, this should have been a very intensive forensic search of that house.
Exactly.
So, of course, collect all the electronic
Thank you. Yes.
gaming equipment, all of the
Everything.
computers, but
3
all
computers,
of those items that
8
may have
phones.
DNA on them.
That's just what we
particularly
know
those
of.
restraints. And we know about him in the 2000.
Not to mention the 32 phones and individuals that had used the address for an account setup. I mean, it just... We'll get into that on that Twitch only episode. Trust me. I have a lot of stuff up here that I just would love to talk about, but it's got to be sub only.
2003 rape that he had used restraints against his victim. So this is something that is part of his sexual arousal patterns. I see sadism in his behavior as well. This potential torture, as you're calling it in your program, that is sexually arousing to him. So that's very important to him, and you're going to see elements of that in his pornography collections as well. And also that compulsiveness of his behavior, right? He's serving time for a sexually violent rape against a minor. He hasn't even completed the sentence, and he's sexting another minor in an effort to receive sexually
That's what I'm
explicit photos
saying. Like,
from that minor. I mean, that is really
charged with it. Never
Right.
adjudicated because
you-
on day one of the
you
trial,
do
he
the
put a
same
bullet in his
stuff
own head and
incarcerated
everyone
that
else's.
got
I have
you
to
in
leave it there,
prison in the
Kathleen
first place.
Canning Mello. Thank you for this, but I do want to tell our audience that they can look to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Check the database there. There are lots of resources. Just go to missingkids.org. You can find out more about the kids here. By the way, one of them, Ronnie Marshall, is from McAllister, which is where the McFaddens lived. It's very distressing. Again, thank you so much, Kathleen. Appreciate it.
So is there a link in here? Missing, what is it? Missing kids, what?
he hasn't even completed.
Charged with it. Never
Right.
adjudicated because on day one of the trial, he put a bullet in his own head. And National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, check the database there. There are lots of resources. Just go to missingkids.org. You can find out more about the kids here. By the way, one of them, Ronnie Marshall, is from McAllister, which is where the McFaddens.
And I'm going to share a couple websites real quick too. Missingkids.org. There's the link in chat. It was crazy. Somebody typed a comment in one of my previous shows and they said, wow, it's crazy. I looked up. I went into Google and typed. And I just recently discovered that there's this 200-300 in a radius. Like, shit's no lie. You don't even have to go to this. You just type in SO near me. So the other thing I want to share again, since we are talking about this, is the Knight's Law. There's 3,207 signatures. They need to get to 5,000 now. They're on the final phase. So they need some more signatures. So if you haven't signed yet, please do. And you don't have to donate monetarily. You could even share to Facebook, whatever. I'm surprised this don't have more. There's 8,000 people that live in this town, and you can't tell me that 8,000. There's not at least 8,000 signatures. That don't make no sense, does it? Thank you, Cassie. That don't make no sense, does it? And for all you guys on Twitch right now, I actually might do a little Twitch stream with the 8-ball pool before I do my show tonight. We'll see how much time I have, because I'm gonna make a couple shorts, but I don't know. We'll see. I might be on there before I do my show. All right, so now we're gonna get to the video of the dad from Law and Crime. Give me 1 second. I can't wait to do some Family Feud tonight. Yes, Twitch is a learning curve for sure. Okay. Law and Crime Network. So let me get their channel up there. Law and Crime Network. And some great conversation. We always have great conversation about Idaho 4. That was a great show last night. It did get a little long there, just because of the WSU Kim, the mom call. But that was a great conversation. We always have great conversation on those nights. Okay, Law and Crime. I can't wait for tonight. Okay, Monster in Disguise. 5 teens found unalived. Victim's dad tells all. No, this is from Wednesday night. And I was going to make a short video about that one too. I just didn't have enough time. I think I made 4 that night. Something like that. But I'm going to start doing that more and more. I'm going to start making these highlight videos from previous episodes from the night before, things like that. I'm going to try and... So that way people don't have to watch the whole 3-hour, 4-hour episode. You know, they can get a little taste of what the show's about, what we bring to the table. What's up, Ray? Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for all your kind words ever since you came in the show, man. I appreciate you. And if you have Amazon Prime, Ray, you can get a free sub over on Twitch, twitch.tv/evilcj. I'll be doing my Twitch sub-only shows because YouTube doesn't allow people under 1K to have memberships. Well, that's my way of allowing others in the show to have a membership type thing where we have exclusive shows just for sub only. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can sub for free. Otherwise, I think it's like $5 or something. But it's kind of my way of, it was my little brainstorm. I thought a couple days ago about, how can I do more for you guys that way, since I can't give memberships, because I've had people ask about memberships from the beginning, and it's like, no, I gotta be at 1,000 subs. I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense. So, a couple days ago I was like, man, I I think what I'm going to do is one night have a Twitch only, sub only show, where that way it is like you guys are having a membership on YouTube, but we're just hanging out on Twitch. And I'm going to be going through my Oklahoma theory. I'll be going through my Oklahoma theory that I won't be going through on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. It's going to be Twitch only. And I'm not even going to keep it up there. It's good. All of my sub-only shows are going to be deleted right after they're aired. So it's going to be exclusive shit. And then once we get to 1,000, then we can go ahead and crack that open, because then that'd be really fun to do the members only stuff too. But oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Ray. I appreciate it. It's all good. I'm not everybody's taste of tea. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. But that's the cool
Ivy
thing.
was the most
Whoa.
amazing girl.
That's the cool thing is like, you know, don't have the crazy amount of subs, but it's the atmosphere, you know. The atmosphere is beautiful. And that's what matters to me mostly. So I do appreciate you guys. All right, this is the dad's exclusive interview with Law and Crime Sidebar. This was from Wednesday night, or this is when they released it. But he does say a lot of interesting stuff. So we just checked out the Ants interview so you can get the full picture. We checked out the Ants interview. Now we're checking out his interview. There's a lot of conversation about not agreeing with each other and, you know, this and that and all this other stuff. I'm just saying, why can't we just believe both people? Why can't we believe him feeling that what he found was everything that they found? And why can't we believe her when she says she found other items that she already stated a few days ago were under a floorboard and some other items that were behind a dresser? Maybe nobody, you know what I'm saying? Let's believe both people. And I don't think the aunt or him would ever tell a lie when it comes to their experience with what's been taking place. That's just my opinion. What's up, LMAO Flow? Yo, I got a sub somehow. I'm not following, but I like. I appreciate that. Oh, that's cool, Josie. I appreciate that. Let me put that up there. Can everybody in YouTube see what people on Twitch are saying?
Ivy was the most amazing girl, and she did not deserve this.
The father of a young girl murdered with her friends at a sleepover in Oklahoma is pushing for changes to protect children from sex offenders.
Oh, nice, Josie. Thank you. Look at that. Everybody's
I'm
getting
Anjanette
subs
Levy,
over
and
on
welcome
Twitch.
to
Holy
Law
shit.
and Crime Sidebar podcast. Ivy Webster had just turned 14.
Damn,
when she
thank
was
you,
murdered
everybody.
Along with her friends at a
Holy
sleepover in
shit.
Henryetta, Oklahoma, a little more than a week ago.
Hop over on
The
Twitch,
man who
get a
killed
sub.
her,
Oh,
convicted
shit.
sex offender Jesse McFadden was the stepfather of her friend Tiffany Guess. Ivy went to the sleepover at Tiffany's house on Saturday, April 29th. The next day, Ivy's parents reported her missing when they couldn't reach her. Sheriff's deputies found Ivy, Tiffany, and Tiffany's mother, Holly Guess, shot in the head at the family's property. Also killed, Ivy and Tiffany's friend, Brittany Brewer, and Tiffany's siblings, Michael Mayo and Riley Allen. Investigators said McFadden took his own life. Fox 23 News in Oklahoma claims that McFadden was due in court the day after the murders on charges that he had sexted a minor from prison using a contraband cell phone. He had been released from prison despite facing those charges. The victim in that case, who's now an adult, told Fox 23 that McFadden had texted her that he was never going back to prison. Ivy's father tells us they found items used for bondage in the McFadden home, including chains and sex toys left out in the open. Now Ivy's parents are
Yeah, thank
supporting
you.
a move
Appreciate
by
it.
state legislators to make it mandatory that sex offenders serve their full sentences.
Thank you,
McFadden
Cassie.
had been released after serving 85% of his sentence. Joining me to discuss this horrific tragedy is Justin Webster. He is Ivy Webster's father. Justin, thank you so much for coming on Sidebar with us. We really appreciate it. First of all, How are you and your family doing right now?
We're trying to stay together and close as we possibly can to help support each other. And we're trying to come up with new initiatives to help pass her story
Damn,
and
Josie.
get her story out there so other people could use
Thank
it to
you.
help change laws within
Wow.
their states and to help us change the laws here and to start protecting these kids around our country.
And let's talk about that. There's been a push since this happened just in the last several days to change the laws in Oklahoma so that sex offenders are not allowed to get out of prison after serving only 85% of their sentences because of things like good time credits and things like that. So you are obviously supportive of these measures.
Not only are we supportive of their measures, but we're also supportive of congressmen being transparent with us and open with us on the process of how that works. So he is trying to find a bill that was already created before this session, and he wants to scrap the language in that and to basically reform the law that's already in put to change those three measures: the 85% rule, the good behavior, and being released if you have another charge on you while in prison. He's trying to change those to stop all that. And then come next session, he's got a copy of our Knight's Law, our petition that we created on change.org, which I hope everybody in the country looks at and uses that language to create their own petitions and own laws within their own state. And that's what that's there for. But Governor Fettgetter is looking over our petition and essentially will hopefully come next session add even more into the current law. But what we really want is we want a new law, and we want that new law named Knight's Law in respect to all the victims of child sex crimes and sexual offenders. With all due respect to most of these laws that are out there in the state are named after one specific person, and they probably deserve that. And I don't know their stories, but there's more than one victim in these, and they're all knights, and that's what we are calling them now. They are knights, and they are fighters.
And so explain to me what else you would like to see aside from, making it so sex offenders have to serve their full sentence, the truth in sentencing where it's 100%.
The full sentence.
How about, let's talk about the fact that he got in trouble all those times for the same types of shit that sent him to prison in the first place as well.
The truth in sentencing where it's
Come on.
100%.
The full sentence to start, 100%, their full sentence to start should be life in prison. If sexual offenders have the ability to destroy a child's life with their acts that they do, whether they murdered the child or not, that child, it will have PTSD. They will have to go through counseling their entire life. They destroy that child's life. So if they can destroy a child's life, they should lose all their rights, and we should have the right to throw them in prison the rest of their life. I love what Florida has done and Governor DeSantis, and I'm hoping Governor Stitt follows suit and creates a capital punishment for sexual offenders here. These monsters, that's what they are. They're not human beings. They are monsters. They need to be locked up for life or put to death.
Justin, I want you to first of all tell me, second of all here, tell me about Ivy, your daughter. First of all, tell me about.
I mean,
what kind of child
some
she
shit
was.
like this, damn straight. But I'm sure he would have.
It's hard to stay focused and trying to continue to push to make things right.
Right.
And then I get asked those questions, and that's where I start breaking down.
Yeah. Because he's too busy thinking about everything
Ivy
else.
was the most amazing girl.
To really grieve. He's so busy. And, that's that's normal, for a parent of something like this that takes place, for them to just want to constantly be busy Oh man. But bravo to this guy for all the hard work he's doing, seriously.
Get asked those questions, and that's where I start breaking down.
Yeah.
Ivy was the most amazing girl, and she did not deserve this. She was loved by everybody, and I keep telling the story of going to the school the day after and just wanting to make an appearance at the school for all her friends who she was loved very dearly by. And I went to her locker and I started reading all the notes that were left in her locker, and most of all of them explained of how good of a friend she was. And when that specific person that wrote that note and those notes, because there was probably 10 or 15 of them that I read, when I needed a friend most, you were there for me. When I was being picked on, you were the one that defended me. You were the best thing that I could ever ask for. She is truly missed, not by just our family, but in entire community. She was amazing. She played softball. That was her favorite thing to do. Her and Tiffany, and that's the other thing about this story is we didn't just lose Ivy. It was just a weekend before that we were telling Tiffany that we're going to give her a key to our house because of how much she was here and how those two girls were connected at the hip. They did everything together. And Michael and Riley, they were always at our house, and we loved that whole family dearly.
Wait.
And all of them need to be recognized for how.
I thought they didn't let people around the kids unless they were both there. Huh.
Good of kids they were and how magical they were, and they didn't deserve this. They should still be here, and that's the frustrating part is if our law enforcement agencies didn't fail us and our DOC, our system here in Oklahoma didn't fail us, they would be here today.
I want to ask you about
That's true.
Ivy going over to the house for the sleepover. I mean, that is something that parents
Again, how do you let somebody out on 85% of their sentence when you go through all those instances where he got in trouble? Most of them for the same shit that put him in prison, and I just don't. It just makes no damn sense. I would like to see why it was even allowed. Like, what was the reasoning? What's the paperwork? Like, when you have it, what's the decision? Here's your decision. Please explain. Explain why you're making your decision. I want to read that paper. I want to read that paper.
Well, most kids do. They go to a sleepover at the homes of their friends. Had you ever met this Jesse McFadden? I mean,
Pre-Star
had
Wars
you ever
game.
interacted with him? I mean, tell me a little bit about that.
So I can tell you on a couple accounts, thank you. I can tell you on a couple accounts that, most of the time that we seen Jesse was
Hey, Punksy.
during drop off. If we dropped Ivy off over there or, Tiffany or one of the other kids were staying the night here, they would come in the house and we would maybe chit chat for 10, 15 minutes, talk about work, talk about Holly's arts and craft as she does. And, yeah, we had interactions. I remember one time we went to Jim Hall Lake where he usually goes a lot too. And so I'm hoping OSBI will investigate there as well. But he met us out there with the girls to go swimming at Jim Hall Lake, and he was out there kayaking and fishing and kind of hanging out with us. But for the most part, I mean, we didn't know the personal side to him. And just knowing who he was based off what our inner.
Come back. I know. I was gonna say, come back over to YouTube. Thanks for doing that on Twitch. Yeah, we'll be doing the Twitch sub only shows maybe one night a week, maybe Saturdays. We'll start off. Maybe we'll start off on Twitch and end it on YouTube or something. End it, go to YouTube afterwards. Maybe we'll do something like that. Yeah, I appreciate all the sub gifts. That was crazy. Thank you so much.
Interactions were with him, there was never any signs of maliciousness. He was a monster in disguise and really good at what he did.
And obviously, Ivy had never mentioned anything. I mean, had she ever said anything to you about this Jesse McFadden that, hey, he's a little weird, or?
My wife and I, we felt he was kind of socially awkward, kind of weird, but as I said, nothing malicious. And that's one thing that's kind of baffled us, walking through that house and seeing everything that was in that house. Obviously it was all out in the open at that point, going through that house afterwards. But as far as our kids going over there and staying the night there, they've never said anything to us. So I don't know where he hid most of everything he had in that house or how he did it. I know a lot of the stuff was purchased the day before. But yeah, and our kids never said anything.
So a lot of these items that were for sexual activity, for some pretty rough stuff, it's my understanding, you said were purchased the day before the homicides?
As far as the sex toys and bondages and whatnot, I can only confirm that the chains and the locks and like some of the marijuana gummies and stuff that we were finding, that was purchased that weekend, I believe the day before, if not that Friday before. I had a receipt in my hand from Walmart from the bag that had the empty package for the padlocks in it and some additional chains in my hand. And I set it on the kitchen counter when the deputies asked us to get out of the house, after we found some more evidence for them. That was the third time we went back there. And as far as where that receipt went after that, I don't know.
Justin, I just can't even imagine being in your shoes as a parent, because you love your children and want the best for them and want them to be safe. And nobody could have really foreseen this. What do you want parents to know, other parents who might be sending their children to sleep over at somebody's house?
Well, it's not just only that. Of course, even if we looked on the Oklahoma registry, which I've done time and time again since this has happened, and Jesse doesn't pop up on any Oklahoma registries. And that's the concerning thing, because as a parent, all these internet trolls are saying that we're the bad people for letting our daughter over there, but they haven't gone through what we have as far as entering Jesse's name in the Oklahoma registry. He doesn't pop up. So even if we did that, we still wouldn't have known because the state failed us. He's not on Oklahoma registry. He's on the United States sexual registry. But me, in my mind, I would have looked up on the Oklahoma registry and left it at that, because he should have been on there. If I had to tell any parents, I would say look at every avenue, every resource given to continue to try to see if your children are going to a safe place. And, we need to all come together as parents and start fighting to change these laws. We shouldn't have to go to these websites to know who our sexual offenders are. We need signs in their front yards saying that they're sexual predators. We need signs at our schools.
That's a
with
great
every
idea.
Sexual predator within a certain.
Because some states you have a pink plate. So they know you're an SO. In some states, you have there. It's a different color of license plate. StreamYard is bugging. Here, my camera's been disconnecting for a couple weeks. Now the microphone's disconnecting. Come up with an update, StreamYard. Damn.
Limit, and that will help parents recognize their sexual offenders within their local area. That'll help the teachers know, and that'll help the kids know who to stay away from. We need their pictures at Walmarts, public libraries. We need to know who our sexual offenders are at all times. And if we can blast their face all over, who cares about shaming them? They shouldn't have rights anyways. So if they want to live in a town where they're not wanted, then good, get out and leave. And that's my message to them. The people in America are mad now, and they're coming. So you better hide. I'll tell you that right now.
Has law enforcement given you any indication as to when their investigation may wrap up? I mean, there's not going to be a prosecution here, but they may be able to provide you with some answers.
With the amount of evidence that was pulled out of that house as far as electronics and having to get search warrants for social media and whatnot, it's going to take 6 months to a year is what we were told, to be able to comb through everything and do everything. We have gotten more answers since that first time, which has been a little settling, a little more, I feel like some weight has been lifted off, because I was fighting so dang hard to try to get a proper investigation into that property. And it was really starting to break my body down and stress me out how hard I was fighting. And then finally we were able to get that investigation. So it did feel relieving a little bit to know that we were getting the justice, or at least the investigation to get the justice that all of us victims and victims' families need and have to understand. And if you don't mind, I want to go back to telling parents what they could do to help. There's a system out there that I just learned about this morning called the Raptor system. The Raptor system is a scan-based system that every school in the country should have. And basically anybody that comes to the school, any parents, anybody that signs into a school and is on school grounds gets their ID scanned. And as a sexual registered pedophile, they should pop up on that system. And when they do, they should be arrested immediately for being on school grounds and breaking their registry agreement. And I think that needs to be a push from our federal government to supply all these schools with the Raptor system to be able to track to see if these offenders are going on school grounds, which we already know Jesse was on the school grounds here literally every single day.
Good luck getting that, though. They're having, hell, we had Crimezilla up a couple weeks ago. She's a school teacher. She actually, we looked up the videos of the barrier system that they have, that they can put in schools to protect these kids in each individual room from these school shootings. And I asked her straight up, well, how much is one of them thing? About 200,000 and something for a room. The funding to the schools has already been cut year after year after year. The economy makes it hard enough to make a living as it is, so people aren't gonna vote for higher taxes or for higher property taxes or for higher interest rates or anything like that, because they can barely make it themselves. It's a great idea, the Raptor system, just like these school barriers are. But we already know the government ain't gonna fucking pay for it. The schools are having a hard time paying for it. Teachers are already not getting paid what they're worth and haven't been for a long time. That's why a lot of the really, really good teachers don't teach. And of course, I'm not saying there's not any out there now, but what I'm saying is this shit wasn't existing either. So you have no resources for money coming from any direction. Like how, and it's got to be an expensive system. The Raptor system. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. I'll be ending it here shortly and then getting ready for tonight. But it's just, it's a great system and it's a great idea. But who's going to pay for it?
And Justin, just one more thing. I wanted to ask you one last thing. I had seen some reporting that you all believe, you and your wife believe, that Jesse McFadden may have texted you from Ivy's phone early Sunday morning.
Yeah, we were just talking about this
I want to
earlier.
say with 100% certainty, obviously just speculating, it wasn't our daughter that was texting us
Right on,
Sunday
Ray.
morning. Our daughter tells us that she loves us. My wife and her are best friends, and every morning, you know, our thing with Ivy was always send us a proof of life picture, and she would send us a picture of her on Snapchat and letting us know she was okay. And that morning we didn't get that picture. We didn't get I love you. It was a quick message saying we had to hurry up and go out to McAllister. Jesse had to work on the ranch, and I'll call you later. And that was pretty much it.
Well, Justin Webster, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time. And again, we're so sorry for your loss.
So, with all the speculation about how this stuff could have taken place on the Friday night, Saturday night, whatever, he was still alive, or somebody, because if you heard what I said earlier, and I'll be going into it in my Twitch sub-only show, or somebody had sent that message. So somebody was still alive that had access to that phone. Jesse, my opinion. Not saying it's facts, because there could be other possibilities. But we'll get into all that on that show. I'll show you. I'll take you down that rabbit hole. It's crazy, Ray. Yeah. Just go, if you want to, just check out that episode sometime. Scroll back 2 or 3 weeks or so. Just look for the description. With Crimezilla in the description. And then we also had a topic show. Or you know what? It was the mental health show. The description. Yeah, just go back. It has its own thumbnail. Let's talk about mental health. We started off, we were going to talk about a case. And, you know, some nights we have that where, you know, we end up talking about experiences and stuff just because we cover all these true crime cases. And sometimes things that we do cover, people have their own experiences and feel comfortable enough to share those. And so it was one of those nights where I was like, you know what, we're not doing this topic. We're going to be focusing on this now. And it was a very interesting conversation, a very interesting show. Definitely worth checking out. We had Kib Kitty and Silky coming up at the beginning of the week talking about their experiences. Thank you for your comfort on that. I think it was the first show we were talking about this Oklahoma stuff. It's just, man, who's going to pay for this? because nobody has money. Hell, the government can't even figure out a freaking debt ceiling. But we can send out all this money all over the place outside of the country. There's a whole bunch of people coming in when it's already hard. I mean, it's just crazy. Where's this money going to come from? It sucks because it should be automatic. All this stuff should be automatic because all this stuff is an epidemic. But it costs money. And they don't want to say it's an epidemic, even though it is. You want to take away the mental health services or not make them as available, but then you don't want to clean up the mess that you created. And it's a bunch of bullshit. Because none of this should have happened. None of it. It's just too damn sad. And the people that are suffering are the victims and their families because other people didn't want to do what they were supposed to do. And that's all across the board. From letting this dude out on 85% sentence served and everything that took place afterwards. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out on this show. I'm going to go ahead and end it. I will see you back in a few hours, in about 3, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be hanging out, kicking it, bullshitting, chit-chatting, playing some games together, having fun. I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping in, Marcella. Man, this was a tough week. I know. I had some people not even being able to show up to some of the shows about this Oklahoma stuff because they just weren't able to. I totally understand it. Totally do. And this is why I do these Friday night hangouts. Is because I appreciate you guys so much. I enjoy the community and the atmosphere that we create. And I want us to have one night a week where we can just have fun, laugh, talk about the good, the good times. We can talk about, we got pet updates, we got baby updates, we got tales from the crypt, we got games, we got all sorts of stuff. Let's have fun tonight, everybody. Can't wait to see you guys. See you in a few hours. Definitely hit the notification. I already have it set out there. I'll see you guys tonight. I can't wait. Have a peaceful and positive afternoon. I'll be back.